sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Beagles on the track, roaring engines never slack. Racing on, no looking back. On the hunt for victory's knack. Trucks flying through the night. NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaining light so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night. NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight. Peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace. Speed hounds in grace. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Thrill the place. Thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase. Victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste. In this high octane haste. In this high octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream. This is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam. Racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might. Push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight. Racing on with all our might. All our might.
planning, possibility. At Metal Morphosis Machine, we turn ideas into engineered reality. Whether you're working with plastics, composites, ferrous or non-ferrous metals, our capabilities and vast partner network ensure no project is too big, too small, or too complex. From concept to completion, your success starts here. Discover how Metal Morphosis can elevate your machining needs today.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here from the beautiful Road America. A little bit of left and right hand turns for us here this evening as drivers will have to try and figure out a way to safely get around this racetrack and not put themselves into a bad situation, which is going to be easier said than done. It is going to be tough. It is going to be a non-stop battle, just trying to keep your truck on the racing surface and out of trouble here this evening as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go here in just a few more moments. We do have K-Dub in the chat, says, my home track. He says, hate road courses, but love watching races at this track. Fun fact, I poured some concrete walls in the kettle bottoms here. Got to drive the concrete truck on the track. Let's go. That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope, K-Dub. That's pretty dope. So a little home track racing here for Mr. Winker. Obviously, it's going to be a tough race. I think it's going to be tough for everybody, as Tower Operator in the chat says, hashtag Winker Nation. K-Dub says, Bruce, don't expect me to be anywhere near the front. K-Dub, I think you may even surprise yourself, brother. I think you may even surprise yourself as Richard Bradshaw, what's good, Richard? Richard in the house says, HCK Beagles, Metal Morphosis #1. Let's effing go! Jason the Fanny says, Richard Bradshaw in the mother fluffin' house. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. How are you, Richard? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday as we'll get ready to set these drivers loose in what is going to be a fairly, I'm going to call it chaotic race. I mean, even just watching these guys for a little bit during their practice session, watching these guys out there on the speedway here in their qualifying session, it looks like it's easier said than done being out there on the racetrack and not putting yourself into a bad position and potentially putting yourself into an out-of-track scenario. And I think we're going to see a lot of that here this evening. I think we're going to see a lot of trucks off the racetrack and potentially out of this race in a quick hurry here. I mean, there's a lot of distance between the racing surface and any of these walls in most places, so I don't think we're going to see too many exit the race due to damage. There may be a couple that'll slide too far with too much speed and maybe get into some big damage, but I think a lot of it's going to be just trying to minimize the spins, minimize putting yourself into one of those tough areas out there on the racetrack. And now I do believe we will still have our stage break. No break though, some stages though for these drivers, so that's a little bit of extra points if you can get yourself up inside the top 6. But I think for the most part, this 30-lap race is going to be all about just keeping yourself in it, keeping yourself on the racetrack. There's 4 total sets of tires. It is 70% fuel, 0 quick repairs if we need to. There is 3 green, white checkers, but I don't think we're going to get those with no caution flags, so it's only localized yellows, no full course caution flags throughout this race, so things could move along fairly quickly. We could see this one end in a quick matter of time, but it's going to come down to just minimizing those mistakes. And honestly, we've seen drivers that are even qualified here on the front row have problems there in that qualifying section. We did see Jacob Grube go around. We saw Nick Gardner have issues. Chris Gilbert, a lot of these guys, man, we've seen already lose some areas out here as K-Dub says stage completion, lap 9. Yes, the stage will be completed at the completion of lap number 9 here this evening, so some extra points for our top 6 there. As Tower Operator says, go straight as fast as you can. If something gets in your way, turn. That's it. That's it. He's got it. He's got it, chat. That's exactly how you do it. Until something else gets in your way, just keep going straight. Just keep going straight. Don't worry about the corners. Don't worry about the other trucks in front of you. Just drive through them. That's all that matters. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be fun though. We may see that a few times here this evening. Yo, what's good, Martin? How are you, Mr. Martin? Coming into you on the lump says hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon, brother. How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday as we'll get ready to set these drivers loose. We'll get ready to go to battle. As starting in the pole position will be this beautiful Metamorphosis Machine LLC number 18 ride of Jacob Grube. Grube will still stay in the pole position here to start this race. Nick Gardner will start there in second with Chris Gilbert back in third. To his outside will be the number 19 truck, is a Tech Warrior ride of Ed Kochersberger. Then we see Jason LePan in the beautiful Richard Bradshaw number 20 ride. Will start there in fifth. Tim Blankenbeckler in the Juke Joint Frets for Pets truck will start to his outside in that sixth position, with Bobby Blair in the Ridge Powersports KR Gutters number 75 starting in seventh. Rob McDonald Trench will start in position number 8. The beautiful Frets for Pets Juke Joint number 31 will start there in 8th with, I do believe it'll be Cal Turboville in the Klondike Howard Innovative Therapy number 64 ride, who will start there in 9th. To his outside will be the 25 of Gordon Glidewell. Glidewell will round out our top 10. Then we see John Herbert, Nicholas Snyder, Robert Howard, Kevin Winker back there in the 14th position, with Kyle Van Tassel and Kyle Wiggins bringing up the rear of the field here. And it looks like two drivers going to elect to start from pit road. Ryan Peterson and Evan Gourmet will both start down pit side here this evening. So a little bit of different strategy here for a couple of these drivers, and obviously everyone's just sitting on the edge of their seats. This is a big racetrack. It's a long racetrack. We're going to get confused where these guys are in on the racetrack all evening long. There is 14 corners. A lot of these corners being very, very tight, very tricky to navigate your way through, and it's going to make for a lot of fun. The track is 4.048 miles long here as well, so just over a 4-mile speedway with a lot of twists and turns. I do believe they head down through corner 9 and 10 here. This is the carousel just in between the Johnsonville Bridge and the Continental Tire Bridge right here. So they're going to go through that Continental Tire Bridge right now, and I do believe they're going to head down through the Kettle Bottoms towards Canada Corner. Shout out Canada, my home country, Canada. That's where they're headed right now, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out Canada, as I believe these drivers, they're going to get ready to be set loose. They're going to get ready to go to battle. This is where K-Dub was pouring some concrete here. So Kevin Winker, he's been here. He's laid some concrete down for, this racetrack. So he's going to have a little bit of that home track feel to it. He's been here. He's experienced it. He's been on track with the cement truck. So look at that little bit of extra advantage here over the rest of these drivers. They head down into Canada Corner here in corner number 12 before they head to the Bill Mitchell Bend, which is going to be exciting to see, because at the end of it we do head towards the Hawk Tunnel, which is always a really, really cool tunnel area. Maybe a little bit of the Hawk Tua Tunnel. We'll have to wait and see and get a good look at what this tunnel looks like, because drivers are going to see it at least 30 times here this evening, at the maximum 30 times. Minimum, we're not too sure what that may be yet for all these drivers, but for some of them could be quite a bit different as we get ready to set them loose. We get ready to go to battle. Pace truck will get ready to make that hard right-hand turn back down pit side, and here we go down the Road America straightaway. These truck drivers in the Metamorphosis Machine LLC will see the green flag fly here this evening as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation here from Road America. These drivers are underway. Quickly, green flag is in the air, and for the 27 and 18, they drag race down into corner number 1, and this is where we're going to see drivers already potentially run into issues. Everyone's going to have to try and keep themselves on the racetrack. So far, pretty good. Looks like everyone's able to keep on rolling. No one finds himself off the racing surface down in that first corner. Corner 2 may be a little bit different here. We're going to wait and see. Hopefully everyone makes it through there through corner 2 and 3, or 3A, whatever they call it now, and they head down and under is that Sarah Ghetto Bridge right there towards the Marine Sweep area, I guess. I don't know why they call it that or whatnot, but oh, look out! Here we go. We see one around. That is the, oh, two around. Oh, no. John Herbert's around. We see Robert Howard's in there. We see a couple other drivers getting collected in this as well. Unfortunately for the 5 ride. Oh, man, Nicholas Snyder, nowhere to go here. He's actually going to get ran over as you see the 87 come in with too much speed, too much pace, and gets into him. Now the 50 ride tries to get around the 87, can't quite get there. We did see Tim Blankenbeckler also go around trying to, keep himself just pointed the right direction. Got in there too hot, though, unfortunately, does go around himself. Looks like everyone's got themselves pointed back in the right direction, though, and everyone's still just trying to make these corners, not make any mistakes early on, as we do see Chris Gilbert down into the grass. He's going to dip his toes into it here as that number 18 ride, beautiful machine of Jacob Grube out in front, but right now our top 5-6 drivers all kind of sticking together here. They really kind of hung together as Grube leads the way. It's Nick Gardner who sits in second, Chris Gilbert there in third, Ed Koshersberger, Jason LePan, and Bobby Blair. Our top 6 out here on the speedway, kind of all right there together. Not too much of a distance, and you do see a good gap here. Already 3.8 seconds between 6th place all the way back to 7th place with that 64 of Cal Turboville. Behind him will be the number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. You do see Kyle Wiggins a little farther back with Rob McDonald in the 469 ride, as I do believe for Ryan Peterson and Evan Gomet, they should cycle back into their actual positions here. Unfortunately, they missed the opening pace lap, so we'll have to wait for a couple laps for iRacing to get those collected. But for the 68 ride of Evan Gomet, should be in about the, I want to say he's in about the 8th position behind his teammate Cal Turboville right there. So should be able to jump up a little bit, but man, this has been already a pretty crazy one. But man, they're clicking these laps off in a quick hurry. This 22 minutes and 25 seconds to do a lap. This race may fly by in a quick hurry with no caution flags. Could make things very interesting here this evening. But being a 4-mile long racetrack, when you got to come down pit road, you only got 70% fuel capacity in these race trucks. A 4-mile speedway, does that get you 8 laps, 12 laps? When do you have to start making these decisions to come down pit road? And I feel like for a lot of these drivers, if they can make it 15 laps, then they're probably going to try and get to that halfway marker. Only have to come down pit road one time. But if it's inside that 10-lap area, I think we're going to see few drivers trying to, make it towards 10 laps, try to split this race into 3 different sections, hit 2 pit stops on the day, which should leave them with an extra set of tires back behind pit wall. So I think that's going to be the idea for a lot of these drivers, as Janelle in the chat says, let's go Team HP! Cheering on all the HP Motorsports rides here this evening as Jacob Grube continues to lead the way. Grube out in front, Nick Gardner right there with him in second. Chris Gilbert back there in third, and we're at that point now that they're starting to really separate themselves from the rest of the field. They're really starting to drive away from a lot of the drivers throughout our top 8, top 10 out there on the speedway, and everyone else back behind them. So you gotta know who you're going to be battling with, who's probably going to be the drivers in your vicinity that are going to be a part of this battle for the race win and maybe a top 5 here this evening. But you got to know that if you make a mistake, if you put yourself into a bad position, then potentially, you're going to lose a couple spots here. If you're Jacob Grube, you go off racetrack, you could slide back into that 5th position in a quick hurry. As Brandon Deming, what's good, Brandon? Brandon in the chat says, sad night, a road course, love them. Update took forever and missed the start. Go Ridge boys. Yeah, unfortunately there, yeah, it was a pretty big upload there for the new stuff. I had everything updated prior to this. I had PC issues, last week on Wednesday and Friday. Saturday we went through everything, virtually did a complete Windows reset, and then did a complete PC reset, got everything fixed up, got everything re-downloaded and downloaded everything. And then today, I just said, I gotta just keep on with it and update everything. And You know, it was about 22 gigs of an upload, so it doesn't take me very long. I do have a really good internet, but it was definitely not a small one, that is for certain. As Jacob Grube, though, continues to lead the way. Grube out in front, Nick Garner there in second. As Chris Gilbert back in that third position, Jason LePan and Ed Koschersberger are top 5. The only thing that sucked about the update here this season is that there was no updates to dirt, man. We didn't get any new dirt tracks, no new dirt cars. You know, dirt's just really gotten put onto the back burner here for the last little while. I don't even know what they even put in. Any new tracks? Do they even put anything new in here? Let me see here. iRacing, new update. So let's see here. This was 9 hours ago, season 1. Do this. So brand new cars. They added a Porsche 911. They added 4 new racetracks. Adeline Street Circuit. Miami International Autodrome. Lucas Oil Speedway, which is the dirt road course. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, they got the road course on there for the dirt stuff. That's neat-ish. That's neat-ish. We don't mind that. That's pretty cool. That's all right. And then what is this? Winton Motor Raceway, another road course or rally cross course, I guess. So they added a couple new rally cross courses, and that's about it. Couple road courses, couple of those. Nothing else really new except for just new AI stuff. Nothing else really new to the update, which is kind of crazy because they did a lot of updates on a lot of things, but not a whole lot of crazy things or any new real dirt oval racing stuff. So iRacing's been kind of putting that dirt oval onto the back burner, and that really sucks. As Jacob Grube continues to lead this race, he's out in front, but you know, still one mistake, one slip up. These guys are right on your back bumper, as you see Nick Garner, Chris Gilbert right there ready to pounce. Jason LePan not too far back there in his Warrior Racing. Richard Bradshaw, number 20, right into the 4th position. The Tech Warrior 19 machine of Ed Koschersberger rounding out our top 5. There you see Bobby Blair in that 6th position, and it's Evan Gomat who's now up and into 7th, so he's able to get around his teammate Cal Turboville. And for Evan Gomat, he's trying to hunt down some of our top 5 here, hoping to see if he can put that hometown garage ride into another top 5 run. Cal Turboville there in 8th with Nicholas Snyder back in the 9th position. Now, Snyder does have a little bit of damage here. That right front, right side looks like he's gotten into a wall somewhere, but last time around, he laid the quickest lap of this race. So the 5 ride's got some speed. The HendrickCars.com machine has found a little something out there. As look out back behind him, Ryan Peterson, hang on to it. Going for a ride through the grass, says Peterson there in that 10th position. Now, right now, he's in 10th. He's already 14 seconds behind our race leaders. And behind him, it's another 14 seconds to the 31 of Rob McDonald. You go 9 seconds back to Kevin Winker. So K-Dub, Winker Nation in that Muhlenberger Custom Homes ride all the way back here in 12th. And he is about 38 seconds behind our race leader. Already 38 seconds back. That is absolutely crazy, as he does have Kyle Van Tassel, Tim Blankenbeckler, the 87 ride of John Herbert right there with him. Gordon Glidewell a little farther back there in 16th. And we just saw Robert Howard run into some issues here. Let's take a look and see what happens to Howard. So he's headed down a straightaway here. Looks like he's headed down into corner number 5. Unfortunately, this is an area where we've seen a lot of drivers kind of lose that rear end and go for a loop-de-loop, but unfortunately, that's where we see Robert Howard go around. Now, there were a few other drivers as well. We saw Tim Blankenbeckler come down pit road, and Kyle Wiggins. Wiggins also came down pit side here. We did see him go off track a little bit. Didn't seem like there was any major damage or anything, but let's take a look. So, up off the racing surface, kind of into the grassy area here, and then just kind of gets onto the binder, shoots it down pit side, and ever since then he's been down pit road. I do believe he may have even taken his himself out of this race and not even out there on the racetrack anymore. So a tough break there for Kyle Wiggins, and hopefully he's going to run this track a few more times, because I just had to buy this racetrack as well. I had to buy this 10 seconds before I got in here, so I had to just buy it. I had to get it in here, and unfortunately, your scrolling position thing isn't on screen. Yeah, when I'm on, oh, it's not updated. Okay, let me update that for you. Thank you for letting me know that there. Tower operator, I appreciate that. Let's get that updated. There we go. Every once in a while, whenever it goes from qualifying to the feature event, sometimes it doesn't automatically update. I don't know why SDK does that, but we got her fixed up. We got her fixed up for you. We'll get it done there for you, so you guys don't get to miss out on where your favorite drivers are out there on the racetrack. But yeah, this is it's a track I thought I already owned it, but I guess I didn't. I had to buy this thing, man, and man, it sucks having to buy all these new racetracks and everything else, man. I spent so much money on these racetracks and come here once or twice and never even do anything at these racetracks except for one or two broadcasts. So I really hope in the future we can use this track for a few more races. Hopefully it stays on the schedule. Hopefully everyone enjoys it here tonight, as Tower Operator says, thanks, must figure out how far behind Winker is. Well, he's a stretch a ways back there. He is a ways away back there, unfortunately. There he is on the board right there. He's back a little farther. It's a tough track. It's a tough race. It's a long race, but yeah, he's already about 50 seconds behind our race leader here. I think for a lot of these drivers, if they can just keep themselves on the lead lap, I think that'll be a win in their own rights here this afternoon. I think that's what a lot of drivers are going to be trying to aim for, is just trying to, keep themselves on the lead lap. And I'm not sure how many are going to be able to do it. There may not be a lot that'll stay on the lead lap here this evening. It's Winker, John Herber, Tim Blankenbackler, that number 13 of Kyle Van Tassel just went across the start-finish line. The 18 machine's already like halfway around the racetrack here, so they got a lot of ground to either make up, or a lot of ground for these guys to fall back, or a bunch of strategy to try to work out into their position. Let's take a look here. Let's go with car number. Why not car number here? So there's the track map right there. This will give you a good look here, the track map on where the drivers are. Now, the one that's on the very top of that track map that's highlighted in the green, that's our race leader. That is the 18 machine of Jacob Grube, I do believe down into corner number 5, basically in the middle of that track map where you see the 4, the 87. I believe that is right where, somewhere in the middle of that is where Kevin Winker is kind of in. So he is a ways away from the rest of the field here, but man, it really puts into perspective how big this racetrack is. Look out! Oh, there's contact. Look out as the 27 ride of Nick Gardner gets some damage here, gets into the wall, and I do believe may have had a little help here, or may have already been starting to go around as he's kind of going through some of the rocks that have been kicked up on the racetrack, maybe loses the rear end a little bit. I do believe that's exactly what happens. Honestly, a dirty racetrack. A few drivers have been down through some of those rock piles, and unfortunately, right here for the 27 truck, as he's kind of going through the rocky area that's kind of been washed up onto the racing surface, he gets into it, it gets stuck onto the tires, he's on the throttle, and all of a sudden rear end just kind of snap out and around on him. Luckily enough for the 45, he does avoid getting a piece of that 27 truck, but that's a pretty solid piece of contact there for the 27 of Nick Gardner. So that's going to hurt him. That's going to send him back a little bit here, but it does move Chris Gilbert into striking distance, and Gilbert takes over the race lead. So Chris Gilbert now out in front, gets around Jacob Grube, and for the first time here in 6 laps, it is that 18 ride who's able to work his way into second place here as the 45 works himself into the race lead. Now, we did see Kevin Winker, K-Dub, also having some issues here. The Muleburger Custom Homes number 42. Look out off the track in the grass. Luckily enough, though, able to keep it rolling, able to keep it on the racing surface there for the most part. Did not go around, kept it going in the right direction, and that is definitely a good thing for him. But you do see the Jegs.com number 45 of Chris Gilbert now leading the way. Jacob Grube there in second. Nick Gardner back in third. Jason LePan and Ed Koschersberger are top 5 as Richard Bradshaw says LePan is going to catch him. He's going to catch him. You know it. Number 18 getting into the groove. Yeah, definitely getting into the groove. Tower operator says he must be doing a fuel conservation race. Laugh out loud. That's gotta be it. 100% tower operator. Shauna coming in as well with the hashtag Winker Nation. What's up, Anna? Mrs. Alessandro in the chat says, what's up, my peeps? What's up, Anna? What's up, my girl? How are you? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Tuesday. Tower operator says, need a caution. Laugh out loud. Need a caution. Too much debris on the racetrack. Need that yellow flag. Unfortunately, for these drivers, they're going to have to deal with it. They're just going to have to deal with it. They're going to have to try to navigate it. And unfortunately for others, they're going to run into more and more issues. Let's take a look at this Midnight Racing League Silverado. Glidewell right here. Glidewell gets into the grass, into the braking zone, goes for a slide down through the corner. Luckily enough, no major contact or anything else as he comes to a sliding halt. But then we did see Nicholas Snyder also off the track here. Let's take a look and see what happens. 5 ride. Already a little bit of damage, sends it out there deep. Oh, baby. Luckily enough, able to catch it, able to keep it rolling there. That was another close call. Man, these drivers are pushing their trucks to the absolute limit here this evening. There is no backing down. There is no slowing up or giving an inch out there as Chris Gilbert continues to lead the way. It is Jacob Grube, Nick Gardner, our top 3. Jason LePan, they are in position number 4, continuing to look for more. The Tech Warrior number 19, Ed Koschersberger, they are in 5th with Evan Golmet, Nicholas Snyder, Bobby Blair, our top 8 out there on the speedway. A little farther back, you do see this number 64 truck. There he is. There's that Howard ride as the 64 Cal Turboville rolls in the 9th position, and it's Ryan Peterson in the Ridge Powersports 469 that rounds out our top 10. Trench, Rob McDonald back here in the 11th position as a pair of Frets for Pets trucks. Kind of back in that 11th and 12th spot as Tim Blankenbeckler rolls there in 12th. John Herbert in that 13th position. K-Dub Kevin Winker in the 13th and Kyle Van Tassel. They're duking it out back here for 14th and 15th. A little farther back behind them, you do see the 25 of Gordon Glidewell, the 50 of Robert Howard, and Kyle Wiggins already taking his truck down and out of this race. So for a lot of these drivers, man, it's been a bit of an exciting one. It's been a bit of an interesting one, trying to see, where they're able to navigate, where they're able to find that speed, and where kind of the driving line really is around this racetrack, and where these drivers really need to hit their marks, or trying to learn, where one another is a little bit quicker, a little bit worse, and trying to size them up for later in this race. But you see how the track is getting covered in some of those rocks and some of the sand and everything else out there. It's just going to get more and more treacherous for these drivers, and it's going to get more and more fun for us up here to watch them try to hang on to these things and keep pointing the right direction. As down across the line, they do complete 8 laps of racing action. So 8 laps already into the books here this evening. 8 laps down, 22 laps left to go. Now the big question is going to be, when do you got to come down pit road? When is it time to make a pit stop here on the evening? And really, how's this pit stop going to work? You got to really climb up a big hill. You got to kind of carry a lot of speed up that hill. And then the pit entry, all of a sudden it gets a little bit more sketchy for a lot of these drivers, and try to, maybe make up that extra second or two, or try to put yourself into a little bit better of a position later in this race. Making that penalty down pit side, potentially getting a black flag or any type of hold down there could, really ruin your chances on trying to win this race. If you're anyone inside of our top 5 or top 10 right now, if you're kind of outside the top 10, it's starting to look a little bit more bleak for you, because you continue to fall farther and farther back. Right now, there's only about 11 drivers that are within 1 minute of our race leader. 11 drivers within 1 minute of this 45 rider, Chris Gilbert. There's really only about 4 that are within 5 seconds of our race leader, going back to the 20 ride of Jason LePan. But even if you look back here at Nicholas Snyder, Snyder finds himself almost 9 seconds back of our race leader. You look at Bobby Blair, he's over 12 seconds behind. You look back in 10th at the 469 ride of Ryan Peterson, he's about 16 seconds behind our race leader. That is a pretty big gap. Is K-Dub Kevin Winker, he's already been down pit road, just came down pit side there on lap number 8, so a little bit of an earlier pit stop there for that Chevy Silverado as Kevin Winker comes down pit road. Now he's still on the lead lap, he's still in the mix of things. He's got to hope that maybe tire wear can help him out a little bit here, can kind of make him a little bit quicker, but I'm not sure how much speed he's going to find out of that race truck to get himself into the battle. Our race leaders, they're running, 2-minute, 18-second lap times. You look farther back here in the field, a bunch of these drivers basically from Rob McDonald back on to Kevin Winker. None of them have ran inside of a 2-minute and 22-second lap time. They're all running right around that 2 minutes and 24 seconds, so they're about 6 seconds a lap over everybody else. As Martin says, I'll probably say about 10 to 15. I'm going to say probably somewhere around that 10 to 12 area. I think that's a pretty average spot for them to probably have to come down pit side. Now, obviously, they're staying out again for their 9th lap, so they've completed 9 laps. This will be lap number 10 out there on the racetrack, and you can start to see even things here at the front of the field starting to open up a little bit more here. Chris Gilbert has about a 1.4 second lead between himself and Jacob Grube. You look 3 seconds behind him to that 27 truck. You gotta wonder if maybe the little bit of front end damage there for that 27 is starting to affect his ride. He does have Jason LePan right there with him. A little farther back, you see Ed Kostersberger, and then a great battle here for that 6th position as the EngineCars.com number 5 of Nicholas Snyder will work himself now into 6 as the Hometown Garage number 68 of Evan Gomet will slide back into 7th. Bobby Blair there in 8th, Cal Turboville, and Ryan Peterson right there behind him as Chris Gilbert just a man on a mission here at the front of the field. Jacob Grube, though, trying to hunt him down as we do see Peterson getting off the track there a little bit himself. Luckily enough, able to keep it rolling. Doesn't lose too much time there to Cal Turboville, and he'll stick right there in that fight. But for these drivers, they've been clicking these laps off in a quick hurry, and nice and easy. Down across the line, they're going to complete lap number 10. So 10 laps in, 20 laps left to go here this evening. 20 more laps left to duke it out. Now we do see, is that Kyle Van Tassel getting off the racetrack there a little bit. We do see Gordon Glidewell. He's going to head down pit road. We did see John Herbert off the racetrack there for a split second. Luckily enough, he's able to get it rolling, and this is really what it's going to come down to, is just trying to keep your truck out of trouble, keep yourself pointed in the right direction and on the speedway. And I think for a lot of these cats up at the front, when it's Chris Gilbert or Jacob Grube, you look back at Nick Gardner, who had that one issue with off the racetrack there and got a little piece of that inside fence around corner number 8 or 9, somewhere in there. And unfortunately for Grube, that lost him a spot. He fell from 2nd back to 3rd and has just continued to kind of keep following farther and farther back. As Martin says, might as well get yourself some coffee. You sound tired. I'm always tired, brother. I'm always tired. Don't you worry. I'm always tired. I gotta go through it. It's like a real NASCAR race. You almost want to take a nap in the middle portion. Oh, look out. Oh, hang on to it, Gilbert. Oh, baby. That's the thing you got to be careful of. You can't run into too many mistakes like that. You can't open up the door for the drivers behind you to take advantage of it. For Chris Gilbert, he was very, very close and very lucky that that truck did not go around. Luckily enough, he was able to hang on to it, but it does bring Jacob Grube a little closer to his back bumper here, so Gilbert gets to get a little bit extra pressure back there again as the 18 draws in a little closer here and brings that pressure again to the 45 as he seems slipping and sliding around, just trying to keep this truck pointed in the right direction. Is right there with him, Jacob Grube, trying to pull away. They are pulling away here. They're 7 seconds now in front of our third place driver. That is a massive gap now between first and second all the way back to third, so they're going to continue to keep on falling farther and farther behind here. And I think if you're Nick Gardner, do you kind of take this opportunity to head down pit road? Here you go. They're going to head down pit side. So, you know, taking that earlier pit stop, they see Chris Gilbert and Jacob Grube stay out for at least another lap. They'll come down pit road here on lap number 11. There's a lot of other drivers that are going to go with them here. You do see Jason LePan, Ed Koshersberger. Here comes Nicholas Snyder, Evan Gilmet, Cal Turboville, Bobby Blair, they all come down pit road. Now, we did see Ryan Peterson. He's staying out for at least another lap. Same with our race leaders, Chris Gilbert and Jacob Grube. So, obviously, some different pit strategies here, and drivers making it about the first 11 laps into this feature event before finally electing to come down pit road. And now they got to hit their pit stalls. They got to make sure they can make a good pit stop. And for most of these drivers and crew, they're not used to pitting here, kind of the opposite of what they normally do. They're usually pulling into the pits on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. So it's kind of the opposite side of the racetrack that they're kind of pulling into. But luckily enough now for the 27. Ooh, actually, I don't think he even got that damage looked at. Doesn't look like anything's been repaired on that right front. So if you're the 27 and you've been struggling with the handling, that could continue to affect your race truck here this afternoon. As Jacob Grube going after Gilbert. Our race leaders, they're battling door to door through the carousel corner here. They are not backing down from one another, man. They are sticking right there together, and they are looking to continue to keep up this fight at the front of the field, man. What a show that Gilbert and Grube are putting on for us here this evening, as Gilbert's trying to hang on to the race lead. Jacob Grube's trying to take it back away from him. Ryan Peterson, he's now into that third position, but he's about 15 seconds behind our race leaders. He still has to make another pit stop here himself. You look all the way back into fourth here for Nick Gardner. Gardner, who sits in the fourth position. As of right now, he's about 50 seconds behind our race leaders. 49 seconds actually behind Chris Gilbert and Jacob Grube. And now you got to wonder, do they come down pit road this time? And it looks like they're both going to make that hard right-hand turn down pit road. So here we go. Our race leaders make their pit stops. Lap number 12. We kind of figured to be somewhere around that 10 to 12 lap area before they'd start to come down pit side. And Gilbert slowing down a little bit right there. The 18 ride gave him a bit of a shot. Is the 45 out of fuel? What's going on here? He slowed down a ton. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is this potentially going to be a game changer here? The 18's rolling pit road speed into his pit stop for the 45. He may be able to get there. But, man, this thing is slowing down. It is losing pace. He's got to hope he can really start to hit this downhill slow, put the clutch in, and hope that he can kind of roll down here into his pit stall. I think for the 45, I think he's out of fuel, chat. Oh, my gosh, this is a heartbreaker for him. Jacob Grube done his pit stop. He's gotten his service. He's gone. He's away. He is rolling back out there. He's in front of Nick Gardner and Jason LePan, so he stays out in front. But for Chris Gilbert, he's just rolling into his pit stall. He has just made it into his box. You can see how many drivers have already gotten around him here, and this thing is just getting serviced. Oh, this is a heartbreaker. This is tough to watch. Such a good truck, and so talented here on these road courses. And for the 45, this is going to set him so far back. I don't think he's going to be able to rebound from it. I don't think he's going to be able to get back into this one, man, as that is a heartbreaker. As Martin says, he slipped a little bit. I don't know if you've seen her or not, but he slipped. Mr. Gilbert, I don't know what that means, Martin, but nonetheless, for Chris Gilbert, man, that is a heartbreaker for him, man. That is a heartbreaker. He now sits about 31 seconds behind Jacob Grube. Him and Grube came down pit road right there at the exact same time, and now all of a sudden finds himself deep in the field as Bobby Blair is trying to keep himself onto the racetrack. So is a Nicholas Snyder. Keep her together, Snyder. Snyder gets up and into the rock pit there, and luckily enough, able to keep on rolling here, able to keep on battling here in this one, but there he is in that 5th position. Not a bad day. Didn't look like he was going to really move forward too quickly. Started back in 13th, now up 8 positions. Rolling here in 5th. Definitely not a terrible spot to be if you're the 5-rider. Nicholas Snyder may be able to get out of here with a pretty solid and decent finish. As, oh, look out! Oh, that's our 2nd place driver, the 27 truck of Nick Gardner. Gardner gets in here too hot. Oh, baby. Oh, no, right here. Gets in there a little too far into the gravel pit here, and you can see him kind of dig into it. Truck is trying to get checked up. He's trying to get this thing pointed back in the right direction, make sure he doesn't go around, and hoping not to get anyone else collected. Unfortunately for the 27 machine, and Nick Gardner falls again all the way back into that 3rd position as Jason LePan able to get around him here. So LePan now up and into 2nd here with that Richard Bradshaw, number 20. Right, his teammate Jacob Grube, though, out in front, continuing to lead the way. As Brandon says, that was painful to watch for Chris. That uphill made the crawl so slow. Yeah, it did. It did. It made it so slow. And unfortunately, you know, honestly, what was he? Probably 50 meters, 100 meters away from probably being A-okay, and it really not costing him too much. But unfortunately, just running out that close on fuel, that tight, and finds himself, you know, battling for the race win right there in the mix, leading laps and keeping Jacob Grube really back at bay and really not giving him the race win here. And with that mistake is back in the 10th position. 30 seconds or better behind our race leader. No caution flags or anything else to open up the door for him. No yellow flags to give him a break or put him back into the battle here. He's just going to have to try to drive the wheels off that 45 ride. Hope other drivers in front of him run into issues and hope that he doesn't run into any issues. You just see that he ran into some problems here. Let's take a look back and see what may have transpired here for the 45. Maybe in a little off-track excursion here. He's trying to get this thing in there as tight as possible, as far as possible, and right there you see him go for his line, maybe flat spotting those tires. So he's pushing it, man. He is pushing it. He's trying to get everything he can out of this 45 right and those new tires, and unfortunately, it may end up costing him more than it's going to help him here. Is now falling back again to about 32 seconds. So he had kind of gained about a second or so on our race leader. He was definitely zooming out there on the speedway, but that mistake set him back another 3 seconds. That's tough. Such a good day on the horizon there for Gilbert. Kind of just come and gone just like that. Lickety split. Goes from battle for the win to now back there behind pit wall, or not behind pit wall, but back deep in the field here. And for a lot of these drivers, they know that they can't run into that issue. They can't give themselves that same problem late in this race. So I think even if you're Jacob Grube or Jason LePan, Evan Gourmet, you can make it about, 11, 12 laps here on a tank of fuel. What do? Do you take it a little bit more easy? Do you kind of just keep on rolling out there and hope that, you can get that extra lap or two in of fuel? I don't see it. I think once you kind of hit lap 21, maybe lap 22, don't risk it going that extra, mile, that extra lap or two. I don't think I'd be stretching. I'd be coming down pit road. You're good on fuel to get to the end of this race. You don't have to worry about it at all. I think that is when you got to make that call, somewhere just past lap number 20. So lap 21, maybe lap 22. I think if you're Jacob Grube, you could probably go to lap 23 without having to worry or stress about fuel a little bit. But even then, I don't think it'd be worth it to stretch it that far and give yourself the same risk that the 45 ride had. As Jacob Grube out in front leads the way, about 4.5 seconds between himself and his teammate here, and Jason LePan, as LePan rolls there in second. Evan Gourmet now into position number 3. Nicholas Snyder there in 4th, as Nick Gardner has fallen now back into that 5th position. With a 469 to Ryan Peterson. Peterson rolls there in 6th, with Cal Turboville sitting in 7th. Ed Kunchersberger, Bobby Blair, and Chris Gilbert are top 10 out there on the racetrack. K-Dub Kevin Winker sits back in the 11th position with Tim Blankenbeckler, John Herbert, and Rob McDonald Trench rounding out our top 14. Back in the 15th position is that Ridge Powersports KR Gutters ride of Kyle Van Tassel. Gordon Glidewell's back in 16th with Robert Howard in the 17th spot. Now, unfortunately, I do believe for Glidewell and Howard, they are both a lap down out there on the racetrack. The next driver to potentially lose a lap is this 13 truck of Kyle Van Tassel. For Kyle, he is not very far away from our race leaders. They are on the same front straightaway. He's headed down into corner number 1. Our race leader right now is about to enter corner number 1, so it is not a huge gap here between him and our race leader, Jacob Grube, here this evening. So for Kyle Van Tassel, he's at risk of potentially becoming the next driver to lose a lap out there on the racetrack. As man, some good battles, man. Some good battles brewing here as well. As you do see, it looks kind of like LePan and Gomet are starting to reel in our race leader just ever so slightly. Now, I'm not sure if this is Jacob Grube, maybe just trying to play a little bit more strategy out there on the racetrack, maybe just trying to, turn it down a little bit, not push the truck as hard, or put himself into a position where he may make a mistake and really cost himself an opportunity to win this race. I think he's kind of just backed it down, taking it a little bit easier, maybe saving a little bit more fuel, maybe saving a little extra tire for later in the run. But as of right now, he's seeing that gap kind of fall from that 4.5 second area down to about 3.5 to 3 seconds here between himself and this 20 ride. Evan Gomet's right there on the back bumper of Jason LePan. LePan will try to keep him back there at bay as Nicholas Snyder tries to reel both of those guys in, hoping to work his way back up onto the podium here this evening. Nick Gardner, who was in that second, third position for most of the first half of this race, back into that 5th spot now. Definitely not where he wants to be. And Ryan Peterson, heck of a run here for Peterson, sitting there in 6th, just outside of a very solid top 5 run here this evening for the 469 ride. Cal Turbeville and Kunchersberger, Bobby Blair, and Chris Gilbert still are top 10 here on the racetrack. So some strong runs, some good runs here for a lot of these drivers, but out in front, it's all Jacob Grube. Grube continuing to lead the way. Grube is in a groove, and this time by the start-finish line as Anna says, Peacemaker, is your computer lagging? Oh gosh, I hope not. I don't think so. I don't believe so, Anna. I don't believe so. I believe it should be good. I don't think there's anything, I don't see any skip frames or anything else. It might be on your end, potentially. It might be on your end that you're running into issues. I think YouTube is fine. I haven't seen any issues on YouTube or anything else. I haven't seen any skip frames through our stuff, so it's got to be potentially on your end. And if anything, you may have to leave the stream, come back in. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that clears it up with a lot of other internet connections. You could try that. If not, then it may just be your internet, unfortunately. But for me, it is good. It's repeated. Yeah, you might have to leave. It may just be your YouTube, maybe mixed up. I had trouble on my TV, but my phone is fine. You had trouble on your TV? Why did you have trouble on your TV? Huh. That is interesting. It should be fine. I haven't had a skip frame or anything else, so we haven't had any issues. Everything's been running fine so far. I've been doing that. You've been doing that, and it's still messing up. So I wonder if it's YouTube themselves potentially, because everything on my end is fine. I'm watching the stream right now, and it looks a-okay to me. Everything looks good on my end through the actual broadcast itself as well. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe it's just select regions. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe YouTube's struggling. Huh. I do apologize about that. I mean, nothing on my end that I can change or fix that would make it any better or any different. Everything's running perfectly fine on mine. My TV was doing the same, but the phone is fine, says Janelle. My phone is fine, but my TV keeps repeating. Tower operator says good here in Michigan. Okay, yeah. Tower operator says everything's fine with him. Tower operator, are you on TV or are you watching on your cell phone too? Maybe it's just like YouTube TV maybe is messed up or something. Maybe that may be the issue. Or maybe Janelle and Anna are kind of in the same area. Maybe it's just something to do with like their network kind of deal that may be messed up, like the servers from YouTube to your cell phone in that area maybe a little bit messed up, because yeah, we're having no technical difficulties here, knock on wood, tonight. No technical difficulties here on my end. Computer YouTube, okay, yeah, computer YouTube, so kind of TV YouTube, yeah, shouldn't have any issues, should be a-okay. I don't know why TV would be messed up for anybody, so that's an interesting one. That's weird. That's weird. I'll have to look into that. I don't know. Let's see, YouTube TV down. So I have seen YouTube TV having some more reports. This is December 9th, that's today. 7:23. I've seen a bunch of reports. 9 baseline, 26 reports. Even this hour, 8:30-ish area. 9 o'clock, 19 reports, 13 reports. So I think potentially it's YouTube TV that may be running into problems. Nothing on my end, chat. I'm in CT. Yes, I don't know. I don't know if this gives you. It's not gonna give me a map. Recycle it. Back. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not sure, chat. I'm not sure. TV sucked. That's all I know. TV sucked. Winker is down 1 minute and 52 seconds. Need a caution. Yeah, we need a caution. Yeah, and I wish I could fix it. I just don't know. I don't know how to fix that. That's gotta be a YouTube issue. You may have to like message YouTube or something like that. Maybe their servers are having issues in your area. Or YouTube TV, but YouTube streaming on my end, everything is ran perfectly. I wish it was my end and I could fix it for you, but I don't have that kind of back end ability to go in and fix YouTube servers to be able to fix that problem for you. But we do see Jacob Group still out in front. We do see Evan Gourmet has been able to work his way around Jason LePan, so LePan has fallen back into that third position. So LePan's fallen back a spot. Evan Gourmet has jumped up into second, and he's tracking down Jacob Group. So I don't know if Group is still trying to save a little bit maybe, or if he's just trying to, have a little bit of fun here during this race and allowing these guys to kind of catch up to him. Maybe he's playing with his food a little bit here, but really, this 68 truck is looking pretty good right now. He's hitting his marks. He's running some pretty strong laps. He looks pretty committed to trying to go after this 18 ride and trying to battle Jacob Group for the race win here this evening. LePan kind of still sitting back there, has fallen a little farther away from Jacob Group, and we see Snyder still sitting there in position number 4. Ryan Peterson's worked his way up and into the 5th position, so Peterson now sits in 5th. Cal Turboville in 6th, and for Nick Gardner, maybe that right front damage here still causing more issues for him. He's continuing to slip back. I don't know why he may not have elected to get that damage fixed. It may have just been too much time down pit road, and unfortunately for the 27, he's just going to have to deal with that damage, and unfortunately that's just been affecting his ride here this evening, and is now fallen back into the 7th position. Ed Koschersberger there in 8th with Bobby Blair back in 9th. Chris Gilbert finds himself there in 10th. And then we do see Kevin Winker here in the 11th position. Now, Winker does have Ron McDonald and Tim Blankenbeckler right there with him. Dimmy, hang on to her. Team goes for a little off-road excursion as K-Dub sits in 11th right now. Yeah, he's actually falling back even farther now, Bruce. He's falling even farther back. So for K-Dub, he now sits about 2 minutes and 1 second behind our race leader, and he is about, I'm going to say, 16 to 17 seconds away from potentially going a lap down here. So I think for Winker, for Ron McDonald, Tim Blankenbeckler, they're really going to be close to going a lap down. For John Herbert, he's behind them. He's in 14th, and there goes our race leader around him. So for John Herbert, he had just lost a lap. Now he's about 13 seconds to 17 seconds behind Tim Blankenbeckler, Rob McDonald, and Kevin Winker. So that just shows you how close our race leaders are to potentially putting that 31 and 42 a lap down out there on the speedway. And for Jacob Group, he sees that 68 truck of Evan Gourmet continue to get bigger and bigger into his rear view mirror, continuing to reel him in this afternoon. They're getting closer and closer to him. So for Jacob Groove, he may be feeling a little bit of pressure here. He may have to drop the hammer and start to pull away if he wants to try to keep that pressure off his back end. But for Gomet, he is trying to reel him in a quick hurry, and we're getting closer and closer here to seeing our final wave of green flag pit stops. Next time by the start-finish line for these drivers, they will complete lap number... Oh, no, look out! K-Dub's got around now. K-Dub, hang on to it. Winker, get her pointed back in the right direction. This is really going to bring our race leader a little closer to his back bumper here. Look out, because here comes Groob. He's right there behind the Winker Nation truck. The Muleburger Custom Homes machine goes off track again, and there goes our race leader. Jacob Groob will put Winker a lap down here. Winker is now going to take his truck down pit side as well. So he's going to dip down pit road, and this is going to put him a lap down. This is going to be a tough spot for the 42 truck, and I think he kind of expected that coming into this race. For a lot of drivers, I feel like they knew that this was just going to be a tough battle, an uphill climb for them all evening long, and that they're just going to try to keep themselves in there as tower operations. There's always the lucky dog for the 42 car. Always the lucky dog. That is a possibility. That is a possibility. He is a lucky dog here and there. So maybe that'll work out into his favor. But you do see again, Evan Gomet still reeling in Jacob Groob. It's less than a second now between first and second. So for this Metamorphosis Machine LLC number 18 truck, he had well over 3 seconds, 4 seconds between himself and our second place drivers. Now sees El Gomet though within a second to his back bumper here, and that's going to really put the pressure on him here. I think he's really going to have to start to pull away here. I think that's a little too close for comfort in the last few corners for Jacob Groob. He's really hit him, and he's kind of opened up that lead a little bit more once again. So I think he kind of realized that, hey, Evan's right there. He's within striking distance. You have one slip up, you get checked up a little bit, and that 68 ride may steal this one away from you. And it may be, you know, one thing to give up the race lead, but to get the race lead back is going to be probably a whole lot tougher to do. So I don't think Groob's going to want to try to put himself back into that position, but he does see more lap traffic just in front of him. Woo, doggy. More lap traffic right here as that Fritz for Pets, the juke joint number 4 ride of Tim Blankenbeckler, the next cat to potentially lose a lap out there on the speedway, as our race leader Jacob Groob reeling into his back bumper here in a quick hurry. Groob is there as they head nice and easy and through the final corner here. I do believe the 14th corner here at the beautiful Road America Speedway, back down the Road America front straightaway up this big old hill and up that climb right there. And as he climbs up the hill, he is reeled right to the back bumper here of this 4 machine. He's going to look to the outside of the 4 right. I'm not sure if Tim's going to let him go on by. It looks like he may get onto the binders a little bit more. Let's our race leader get by him right there. And unfortunately now for Tim Blankenbeckler, he does lose a lap out on the speedway himself, as here comes Jason LePan, Nick Snyder. They head down pit road here on lap 21. Here comes Bobby Blair as well, also down down pit side. This last time around, Jacob Grube, we talked about how Evan Gomet had caught up to him, had reeled into inside of a second between himself and Jacob Grube, and we talked about how he may have been saving, may have been playing with his food a little bit right there. The last lap around, he laid the quickest lap of this race, the fastest lap over anybody out there on the racetrack with 9-lap-old tires. Jacob Grube just laid down a 2-minute and 16-second lap time here. He's the only driver to run under that 2 minutes and 17-second marker. He's basically ran the fastest lap time by over half a second quicker than anybody else out there on the speedway. So for Jacob Grube, it was like, okay, Evan Gomet, he must be listening to the broadcast. He knew that the 68 ride was within a second, because now just over the last lap and a half, he's pulled away almost 5 seconds from this 68 truck. He was right there. He was within striking distance. Now he is just a whisper in the wind back behind this 18 truck of Jacob Grube as he continues to try to pull away and try to put himself into another win here this evening at Road America. The 18 machine is just having some fun out there. Now with a 5-second lead between himself and the 68 of Evan Gomet. Starts to see some more lap traffic here in front of him. That beautiful U.S. Navy machine, that beautiful ride of Mr. Rob McDonald. Next driver to potentially lose a lap out there on the racetrack. So for Rob McDonald, we'll have to wait and see. Does he come down pit road right here? No, he does not either. Oh, no, here comes Rob. So Rob is coming down pit road. Jacob Grube, though, able to get around him and put him a lap down. And for Jacob Grube, he is going to stretch this fuel out a little bit longer. We see Evan Gomet comes down here on lap 22. So virtually splitting this race into 2 11-lap runs there. Now we'll have an 8-lap run to the checkered flag. So won't Ryan Peterson and Cal Turbeville. For the few drivers that came down pit road last time around, including Jason LePan, Nicholas Snyder, and Bobby Blair, they got a 9-lap run here on their fuel and their tires. But for Jacob Grube, he's going to have a very short run as he tries to stretch that fuel out for at least another lap here. Coming down pit road, maybe this next time by, or maybe he gets another lap in. He was able to make it 12 laps on that first run. Can he make it 12 laps again on the second run as well? That's going to be intense to see if he can make it a little bit farther. I don't think he should tempt it. I don't think he should try to stretch that fuel out to another 12-lap run. Seeing what happened to the 45 ride of Chris Gilbert, why take that risk? Why take that gamble? Obviously, he's got the speed. He's got the talent. He's got the truck to just drive away and win this race. I think you don't risk it by staying out there any longer. I think you come down pit road next time by the start-finish line, get your truck topped up. You know you're good on fuel till the end, and you don't have to worry about fuel. You don't have to worry about tires. You're just going to be set here for the rest of this race to be on kind of cruise control into victory lane. As Ed Kochersberger also waiting to come down pit road. Evan Gomet, who was in second, now sits virtually in the third position until Grube and Ed Kochersberger come down pit road, but he finds himself 49 seconds behind our race leader, Jacob Grube, right now. Jason LePan's about 6 seconds behind him, and then you see Nicholas Snyder, Ryan Peterson, I do believe that is the 64, Cal Turbeville right there in 7th. Bobby Blair's back there. Here comes Nick Gardner, Chris Gilbert, who rounds out our top 10. And for Gilbert, man, such a good run, such a good race early on. To have that kind of be taken away from him here by just a untimely time to run out of fuel. Coming down pit road, ran out, kind of coming up this hill, and just kind of killed the momentum of that car. Had to virtually inch his way into his pit stall to make that first pit stop, and lost 30-plus seconds to Jacob Grube, who he was battling with for the race lead, and potentially would have been a battle all night long for the race win. But we do see Grube, he is going to stay out for at least another lap. So for the 18 truck, Jacob Grube, he's going to stretch it to another 12-lap run here. This is quite a bit of a surprise. I would have thought he would have came down pit road that last time. We do see the number 19 ride of Ed Kochersberger. He is going to make his final pit stop of the day here on lap number 23. But for Jacob Grube, still rolling out in front. Right now, will have virtually about a 48-second lead between himself and our second place driver here down the front straightaway. So Evan Gomet back up into second for Jacob Group. He's got 48 seconds to make his way down pit road, get a pit stop in, and get back out there onto the racetrack again for the 18 ride. I think he should be able to do that, still carry a pretty sizable race lead, but last time around, someone picking up the speed here. Nicholas Snyder just laid down the quickest lap of this race, the only other driver to run into the 2-minute and 16-second lap time and actually beat Jacob Group's quick lap time here by about 4/10 of a second. So a blazing fast lap there for that 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Now we see another driver into the 216 area as well. Bobby Blair just jumped up into the 216 area. So for a few of these drivers, maybe finding a little bit of late race speed, maybe finding a little extra gear here, trying to lay down some quick times, knowing that there's a bonus point for having that quickest lap time. And looks like Snyder and Bobby Blair decided they were going to go for it, as K-Dub says, all done for the night. Laugh out loud, had enough. Had enough, he said. Oh, that's tough, brother. That's tough. Yeah, tough racetrack, tough racetrack. Honestly, I don't know who put this one on the schedule. Who put this one on the schedule, K-Dub? Was it you? Did you put this one on the schedule? He says, I'm ready to go back to the ovals. Who allowed this track on the schedule? That's what I want to know. Who put this track in here, okay? Who made that decisive decision? And so here we go. Here comes Group. Group comes down pit road. He's making his final pit stop of this race as comes down pit road. We'll have to wait and see what everyone else is able to do. Who's going to be able to try to beat him, as we do see Howard's back down pit lane. We see Tim Blankenbeckler's headed back down pit road. Robert Howard's down there. Winker's still sitting down pit side. Gordon Glidewell's also down pit road here. As K-Dub says, I put it on the schedule, laugh out loud. Are you kidding me, K-Dub? You put this track on the schedule? Listen, Winker, you owe me $15, brother. You owe me $15. I had to buy this racetrack. I had to buy this place, okay? You owe me $15, you son of a gun. Gosh darn it. I had to buy this racetrack for probably the one and only time we'll ever race here in this series. So probably the only broadcast I will ever do here at this racetrack. I had to pay $15 for today. That sucks. That sucks, okay? It sucks. I hate having to buy new road courses, man. I hate having to buy new stuff on iRacing all the time. It sucks. It's so much money. It's so expensive for us Canadians, brother. It's so expensive for us up here, okay? Our Canadian dollar sucks. So when it's $14, $15, it sucks. As Kato says, I got you, laugh out loud. Trust me, I had to buy it myself, laugh out loud. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. Okay, the amount of racetracks I've bought and that I do like one broadcast for and never go there ever again is incredible. The amount that I have bought in it is not good. It is not good. If I had an actual count, I think they'd hate me. That is for certain. They would definitely hate me. There's so many racetracks that I haven't even touched in 2 or 3 years, but I had one broadcast there for one series and never been there again. But hey, who knows? Maybe someday we'll be back here. Maybe next season we'll be back on the list. I don't know if you'll put it back on there or not. For a guy who doesn't like road courses, I don't know why you'd want another one onto the schedule. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. His group, though, he's definitely not complaining. He's out in front. He's got a big old lead. He's just sitting here, you know, hitting his marks. His last time around, Evan Gomet laid down the quickest lap of this race, a 2-minute and 16-second lap time flat here. 2/10 quicker than any other lap this evening. So for our second place driver, Evan Gomet, man, he's got to be feeling A-okay, but unfortunately, he's about 10 seconds behind our race leader, Jacob Group. Group down across the line. Only has 5 laps left to go. Let's see if we can get a quick little crank it up here before our checkered flag this evening. A quick little crank it up to give us the sights and sounds here around the beautiful, beautiful Road America here this evening. Alrighty, is our race leader Jacob Grube out in front, continuing to lead the way here this evening as the 18 ride out in front looks to continue to pull farther and farther away from the field here in this one. He's got himself a pretty sizable gap here. Our second place driver is just heading down into corner number 1 as our race leader already headed into corner number 3 here. So it is a pretty sizable gap between first and second out there on the racetrack. So he's out of corner 3, headed down this other straightaway. Here comes the 68 right at Evan Gomet. He's just about to hit corner number 3 out there on the speedway. So he's about 14 seconds behind our race leader as Jacob Grube continues to lead the way. Grube out in front. He's just sitting pretty out there. As you take a look at the track map, you can see the 1 and 2. Right now, the 2 is kind of in the middle of the map right there, highlighted with the green circle. The 1 is in front of him. You can see that gap there on the racetrack. You can see the gap between our second place driver and our third and fourth place driver there of Nicholas Snyder and that 4 ride of Jason LePan. And you can see that gap right there, man. You can see how far apart all these drivers are and the gaps that they have between themselves and the rest of the field. Even when you look back at the 10th place driver, I believe, which is still Chris Gilbert. Actually, no, Gilbert's up in the 9th here. Bobby Blair has fallen back now into position number 10 on the speedway. So Bobby Blair, last driver on the lead lap here in that 10th position. Chris Gilbert's at least jumped back up into the 9th spot here. So a driver that had the race lead early on, was battling for the race win, finds himself here in the 9th position. He's got a big gap though, 6 seconds to try to catch up to the 8th place driver, Ed Koschersberger. Here's Koschersberger, sees a big gap there. There you go, you see him just in the background. We're coming into picture there as the 45 ride, so pretty sensible advantage still between those two. But for right now, it's all Jacob Grube, as he's just been a man on a mission here all race long. And for Grube, up the Road America straightaway here this evening, climbs up the hill, up and across the start finish line. And for Jacob Grube, he will complete lap number 28. So we get 2 laps left to go here this evening. 2 more laps left to duke it out here in this one. It's Jacob Grube by about 14 seconds, just under 14 seconds, between himself and the 68 of Evan Gomet. Nicholas Snyder does find himself now into position number 3, sitting pretty out there on the speedway, looking for another solid podium finish here. Also, the hard charger on the evening finds himself up 10 positions, started all the way back in 13th, now rolls there in that 3rd position. Jason LePan rolling there in 4th with Cal Turboville, rounding out our top 5. Ryan Peterson there in 6th with Nick Gardner back in 7th. And Koschersberger in 8th. Chris Gilbert there in 9th. And Bobby Blair rounding out our top 10. Trench, Rob McDonald, he finds himself in position number 11 with Tim Blankenbeckler there in 12th. John Herbert back in the 13th position, and his Sky Soldiers, Ridge Powersports, KR Gutters right there in that 13th position. His teammate behind him here, that is Kyle Van Tassel in 14th. Robert Howard, hang on to it. Howard getting a little sideways, going around, making some contact there with a couple of walls out on the racetrack. Looking enough, not too much damage, able to keep on rolling here late in this race, but he is back in that 15th position as Kevin Winker, K-Dub, finds himself down pit road. Same with his teammate Gordon Glidewell, both down pit road, and Kyle Wiggins done it out of this race since lap number 2. But for Jacob Grube, continuing to just pull away, continuing to just have some fun. He's out here on a nice little Sunday cruise. He can give up 5 seconds a lap here, still win this race by quite a bit. So for Grube, he just can't make a mistake, can't go around, can't spin out, can't really put himself into a bad position that way. But for the rest of it, man, he can just kind of be on cruise control, hit his marks, not make any mistakes, not push the truck too hard or too far into one of these tight corners and put himself into a bad spot. So just trying to take it easy as he exits corner number 14 once again and heads up the Road America front straightaway and up the hill and across the line. For the 18 of Jacob Grube, he will see that white flag fly. So the white flag into the air here for Jacob Grube as He sees the flag fly. He's able to keep on rolling. He's just strolling here. Over 11 seconds between himself and Evan Gomet. Evan's been trying to chase down this 18 ride. Even if the 18 slows down and loses, 10 seconds on this lap, he can virtually use this lap as a pace lap. And knowing that he's got a big enough gap, a big enough lead, that this is kind of a victory lap for him out there on the racetrack, as he's just on cruise control here late in the race. Comac here in tow with Nicholas Snyder there in that third position. Jason LePan in fourth. Cal Turboville, our top five here on the speedway. Now for Cal, he does have a little competition here. He's got Ryan Peterson right there with him. Peterson could try to jump up and steal that fifth position from the 64 Ryan. I know Peterson would love to take advantage of it, jump up inside the top five, earn himself some pretty solid points here this evening. And with that being within striking distance, we'll have to wait and see if Ryan Peterson pushes a little harder here, knowing that he wants to try to steal that fifth spot away from Cal Turboville late in this race. Nick Gardner's back in seventh with Ed Kochersberger there in eighth. Chris Gilbert back in position number 9 with Bobby Blair, rounding out our top 10 here on the speedway. But it's all Jacob Grube. His Grube down and under the Mission Bridge here. He's about to head into the next set of corners and making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes, doesn't slide up and off the racetrack, doesn't want to find any of that grass or one of these concrete barriers for the race limits here. So he's just trying to keep this truck clean and in one piece as he's looking to bring the Metal Morphosis Machine LLC number 18 ride back into victory lane here this evening in the Metal Morphosis Truck Series. Powered by the HCK Beagles, man. The MMM ride looking really strong out there on the racetrack all evening long. And for the final time, down and out of corner number 14, back up the hill here at Road America. It is Jacob Grube who will pick up the checkered flag and win here at Road America in the HCK Beagles Truck Series. As the checkered flag flies, Grube does put the 75 ride of Bobby Blair a lap down here in this race, but it's all Jacob Grube with a commanded lead here, an absolute dominant win. I think the only driver that really would have gave him a run for his money was that 45 of Chris Gilbert early on. I don't know if he was just playing with his food right there, having some fun with Gilbert, but nonetheless, big mistake of the 45 ride allows Jacob Grube just kind of be on cruise control here for the last two-thirds of this race and put himself up and into victory lane. For the 68 ride, the hometown garage machine of Evan Gomet. Evan comes home in position number 2, and Nicholas Snyder of the HendrickCars.com truck will round out our top 3 here this evening. For Grube, picks up the win and will pull himself up and into victory lane here this evening. As heck of a run, heck of a race here. He's going to celebrate a little bit. And in this corner, you do see the 68 ride coming to congratulate him there on the speedway, but it's all Jacob Grube here in this one as we'll get ready to pull in our race winner here to the broadcast booth for his post-race interview. Post-race interview is about to come right at you here in just a couple more seconds. Where is channel I'm looking for? Okay, there we go. There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Jacob Grube. Hey, Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy? Jacob, man, what a run, what a race here this evening, man. Take us back through this one because, man, that looked like you were kind of just on a Sunday cruise there for a little while, but during that first stage, that first run before the first green flag pit stops here, 45 right of Chris Gilbert, able to get in front of you, able to lead some laps here this evening. I don't know if that was just you playing with your food or not, having a little bit of fun with these guys before you wanted to go all business and get rid of the fun late in this race. But, man, he looked like he may have been the only driver to really give you a run for your money here this evening. But with his mistake coming down pit road and running out of fuel there before hitting his pit stall, cost him a lot of time and just allowed you to kind of jump out in front, do your thing, have your fun out in front of the field, and just drive away on a Sunday cruise here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind? Yeah, absolutely. Keeping it clean, keeping yourself out of trouble. You think if that 45 ride didn't run into that issue, that you guys would have been duking it out like you were here throughout this feature event, or are you just kind of hanging back there a little bit, maybe not really showing your hand in that first third of this feature event? Yeah, absolutely. We thought it was potentially going to be a little bit more catastrophic down pit side for the both of you. You almost clipped him right there. It seemed like all of a sudden going up the hill, like he either brake checked you or something happened there, and you just narrowly avoided him and getting damage onto your race truck as well. Luckily enough, you did avoid him, but that was right when the truck shut off. He ran out of fuel going up the hill right there and basically killed all the speed and momentum. So he was basically to a crawl by the time he hit the top of that hill, and took him damn near 30 seconds to crawl all the way down the hill into his pit stall to finally get service, and unfortunately just killed his night. But man, it just allowed you to have some fun with these guys. We saw you there for a little bit in that next run. You know, you had about a 4.5, 5 second lead. Looked like you kind of just start hitting your marks, not really worrying about anything behind you. And Evan Gomet was able to race his way almost up to your back bumper. He was about 8/10 of a second, 7/10 of a second off your back bumper, and all of a sudden it was like a light switch there for you as you turned it back on, and you started laying down super fast lap times, and you just pulled back away from him again before that final pit stop.
and go, and then came out with a 10-second lead. So worked out pretty good. But hats off to Evan. That was a pretty good run from him. I think in practice he was saying.
Just 1 second here. Apparently they're having a hard time hearing you. My stream keeps changing the audio. Try saying something real quick.
Hey, how's that now?
Okay, there we go. Okay, now it's working. But yeah, Jacob, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this evening, brother. Obviously, a very dominating win, a very solid run here all evening long as you put that beautiful Pop Smoke Tech Warrior Metal Morphosis machine back up here into victory lane. Another, fairly dominating race here on a road course for you, man. It's gonna feel pretty good to get back up here into victory lane.
Yep, and I love these road courses, so I have fun doing them. It's always good to come out here and kind of show what you're good at. So I'll take that and look forward to next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's a lot of drivers that are going to be happy not to see another road course next week and kind of get away from them for maybe a little while here. I know for myself, I had to yell at Winker there for a little bit. He put this track on the schedule. I told him he owes me $15, so I had to buy this place, and I'm probably never going to be here again.
Well, it's a great track. It is, it's one of the more challenging road courses, especially because of its length. 4 miles. That's a lot of turns to kind of remember. So
Yeah, a lot of turns, a lot of long straightaways. They have some good, little twisty bends in there that, some may consider like, turn 10A or turn 8A and everything else. But definitely seems like a fun track. Very interesting with the height elevations and some of the hills out there. And made it look really, really fun. Very interesting race. And obviously tight as well, man. This racetrack seems like there's not a whole lot of room. You start going too wide, and really not enough room for 3 wide at all at any point out there on the speedway. So you start battling door to door. It gets really, really interesting out there on the racetrack.
yeah, it's a pretty narrow, road course as far as the going down the straights and stuff. So it makes for some really fun battles.
Yeah, it definitely makes for some fun battles, makes for some interesting racing. And here tonight, man, no one able to do it better than yourself as you park this 18 up and into victory lane. Jake, who'd you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, just thank the team, I guess, for the practice, preparing and helping me out with that. So thanks to them.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Jacob, heck of a run, heck of a draw, Mr. Group. We can't wait to see you back out on the racing surface at Iowa Speedway next Tuesday night for our final race until our Christmas break, and then we get a couple weeks off and back out of Indianapolis there in a couple race time. But Iowa Speedway, man, totally different racetrack, totally different style, going from Road America down to Iowa, going from a big road course down to a small short track. Gonna be a lot of fun to see what you guys got in store for us, and hopefully we'll see this 18 right back up there battling for another win.
Yeah, I actually crashed there last time, so yeah, definitely hoping to redeem myself there.
Alrighty, well, we look forward to it, brother. All about that redemption. Congrats on the win here tonight. We look forward to seeing you back out there next Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Aaron.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Give it up there for our race winner, Jacob Groob. Groob picks up the dub and pulls that 18 up and into victory lane as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Evan Gomet. Let's get Evan up here into the booth. Hey, Evan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Evan, man, solid run, solid drive for you here this evening, especially after having to start down on pit road. You're able to get back out there, able to kind of avoid a little bit of early on-track incidences, and you put yourself right into the thick of things right at the get-go. You have to battle your way up there, make some tough passes, getting around your teammate Cal Turboville, getting around Nick Gardner and Jason LePan, and then Nicholas Snyder as well right in the mix. And luckily enough for yourself, 45 runs into some issues. You get some good pit stops in, and you're able to find yourself here in that second spot here this evening. Obviously, with Groob out there on the racetrack, man, he's kind of a road course ringer. You gotta be pretty happy being able to come home and P2 and salvage some really good points out of the day.
Yeah, starting in the pits, I was a little bummed out on that, but then the incident in turn 3 kind of made me less bummed because I made up a couple spots there and ended up avoiding it. So that was kind of lucky on my part. But Groob just had the race won the whole time. I was just trying to fight my way through the pack and just have some good racing. It was a bunch of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the key to it right there. Just having some fun, having a good time. I know a lot of drivers don't prefer coming to road courses, but they're definitely a little bit more of a handful, a little bit more exciting, especially when you get to see everyone having to make not only left-hand turns, but also making right-hand turns. Throwing a whole different loop into it, especially for a track that, for a lot of people, may have been the first time coming here.
Yeah, no, this is not my first time here. I enjoy road courses, do a lot of sports car, and I was looking forward to this race. Definitely had it circled on the schedule, and I'm glad I was able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points, great race. You parked that beautiful 68 truck back up here onto the podium. Evan, who would you like to thank for a good performance here this evening?
I'd like to thank my parents for always watching. I'd like to thank my girlfriend for watching. I'd like to thank Banjo Time with Clara for a great sponsor. I thank Hometown Garage, of course, main sponsor. Thank you for broadcasting, and thank the Beagles for putting on a great series here. So great time.
Absolutely, brother Evan. Heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. We can't wait to see you back there next Tuesday from Iowa Speedway for our final race of 2025 before our winter break heading into Christmas and New Year's, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yep. See you then.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the 68 rider, Evan Gomez. Evan comes home in position number 2 here this evening as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Nicholas Snyder. Hey, Nick, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Nick, man, another great run, another good performance for you. Obviously starting a little deeper in the pack than I'm sure you wanted to as you get qualified about that 13th position. But throughout this race, other drivers making mistakes. You find a little bit of speed here and there, continuing to get a little quicker and quicker out there on the racetrack. And all of a sudden you start picking them off one at a time, and you find yourself able to at least get up into a solid top 3 podium run here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal to start back there. I just was making mistakes in qualifying and stuff, and that's what just really cost me is just driver making mistakes in qualifying. And then I had that lap 1 incident that kind of, uh, if you had asked me right then and there if I was going to finish top three, I would have said you're crazy. Because my toe was knocked out, I had aero damage. It was a brutal truck to drive, especially on long runs. With the toe being knocked out, and it was just getting harder to make corners, steer, the whole 9 yards. It was frustrating, but you just got to keep a composure.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to keep your composure. Got to keep trying to hit your marks, not make any mistakes, not have too many more off-road excursions out there on the speedway. And luckily enough for you, you're able to keep that truck pointing the right direction for pretty much the rest of that race and just battle your way up here into the front for a solid third place finish, man. Good point stay, solid race, nothing to really hang your head about, man, as you're able to get the most, I think, really what your truck could have produced here this evening. Gomet seemed to have a really strong truck there, especially in the second half of that race, and then Jacob Grube kind of just that road course ringer that's going to run away with it every time.
Yeah, anytime that you're on a road course, you might as well just throw the checkered flag right then and there and just give it to Jacob. He's so damn good on road courses. He's putting his time in. He even said it himself. That's what mostly he does, and it shows. So hats off to him. It just makes us drivers want to be that much better. It's just going to take time.
Absolutely going to take time, going to take that extra, few races here and there, or a little bit more laps at certain racetracks, especially a track like this that, it's the first time I've ever been here. I had just bought the racetrack, so I'm sure for maybe some of these other drivers may have been, one of their first or early times coming here and not really getting a whole lot of laps under their belt here at Road America.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one. It's really kind of greasy, and especially with everyone running off track, throwing those marbles out. It definitely makes it a little tricky um, around here with sharp corners and stuff and blind spots. So, but like I said, it's just all about being patient. And this track for some reason slower is faster. It's not about how hard you can drive in and how hard you can get off. The just slower you go, the faster you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes slow is fast out there on the racetrack. Just keeping yourself on the racing surface and not putting yourself into those bad situations. But here tonight, you're able to do that. You're able to put yourself into a pretty good situation. Coming home in that third position here this evening, Nick, who'd you like to thank for another solid podium run?
I'd just like to thank everybody that took their time out to watch the race tonight. Hopefully, it was exciting. I know it was for my seat, just trying to battle through the carnage. And obviously, I'd like to thank you, Aaron, for taking your Tuesday night broadcast, and everybody that's a part of HCK, all the admins for dealing with all of us whinies at times. So yeah, so hats off to everyone.
Well, Nick, heck of a run, heck of a race, man. We can't wait to see you back in action next Tuesday night from Iowa Speedway.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, the improved 2 spots better.
Beauty, we look forward to it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher here this evening. The hard charger on the day, up 10 positions on the racing surface. It's Nicholas Snyder. Snyder comes home in position number 3, man. Heck of a run, heck of a race there for the number 5 ride, but no one better than Jacob Grube here this evening, as Grube able to pick up the win and pull that Morphosis machine LLC number 18 up and into victory lane here at Road America. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, man. Everyone coming in, showing the love, the likes, the comments, the shares, man. Everyone showing the love here throughout the evening. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and we can't wait to see you guys back in here for the next broadcast. Unfortunately, that is going to do it for us here tonight. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family. Turn those bell notifications on. That way you don't miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming, and we'll catch you guys back here in the next one. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Vision. Planning. Possibility. At Morphosis Machine, we turn ideas into engineered reality. Whether you're working with plastics, composites, ferrous or non-ferrous metals, our capabilities and vast partner network ensure no project is too big, too small, or too complex. From concept to completion, your success starts here. Discover how metal morphosis can elevate your machining needs today.
In this high octane haste, in this high octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights the engine scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might.